Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. In this tutorial I want to show you how to install Ddev and Docker on your Windows machine. And in my case I'm using my old janky laptop with a really bad CPU. As you can see, this is an i5 4200U, as well as 8 GB of RAM that was upgraded from, I don't know, 4 GB or something, DDR3. And in this case now I got my 8 GB. I'm not absolutely sure, and I just wanted to use a PC where Docker is not running, because sometimes it could be really hard to install it. So this is the reason why I make a video, and in my case I want to use WSL2, which already needs 8 GB of RAM. So let's get started, and before I want to show you my intro. I just opened the page from Read the Docs, ddev.readthedocs.io. The link is in the description, and it will guide us completely through, the tutorial how to install Ddev and Docker. And the first thing we have to do is just, install Docker. And you can switch to your system. In my case, I already told you it's Windows, and I want to use WSL2 because it's running much more performant, and you don't have cache problems with mutagen and everything else when you use WSL2. So let's start. The first thing we need to install, because we want to install Ddev later with it, is Chocolatey. You go to the link from Chocolatey, go to install when you're not already there. I was already there. Go to individual or generic, whatever. Okay, let's go to individual. It looks much better. And there are some comments you have to use. In my case, I have to open an administrative shell. So I just open PowerShell and run it as an administrator. Yes, of course we want, and I hope this can be a little bit bigger. So now we just want to copy the comments that are written into it here. Let's check if our execution policy is already restricted or not. We don't want to be restricted, but let's check that out. It says restricted, and in this case we can say this command, set execution policy all assigned, or set execution policy bypass scope process. And the second one was the one I was using in my first tutorial, and that worked pretty well. So I press A to allow all, or say just yes to all, and I hope that's it. Okay. Now we copy this complete command. This is just for the installation of Chocolatey. So put it inside of here and press enter. So don't mind about all these warnings. It should work like as it should. And the next thing we have to do is, just check out if Choco is now working. This can you do just with Choco and then the question mark. So that looks good. It shows me the version as well here, so everything looks fine. The next thing we can do is install Docker with Chocolatey, but in my case, it's much easier for me to just install Docker, install WSL2, and after that, when that all works, we install Ddev with Chocolatey. So I've already downloaded it. You can just go to docker.com. Go to download Docker desktop for your version that you want, and I already downloaded it because I don't have such great internet access with the laptop. It just got like 2 megabytes per second or something as download, so that's not really fast. But in my case, I just downloaded it. You can download it as well and just install it. Press yes. So in the installation, you can use WSL2 instead of Hyper-V. That is recommended as well, because it's just much more performant than everything else. And yeah, I don't mind about adding a shortcut to my desktop. It looks pretty clean, so I will just do that. And let's wait until Docker desktop is installed. Alrighty, so the Docker desktop is installed, and I have to restart my Windows laptop. Don't wonder about that, because I'm currently using a remote desktop to check that out. And now my Docker installation should work, but I will give my laptop a little bit time to just boot up and run everything that he needs to run. All right, now Docker subscription service agreement greets us here and says you don't have to be like more than 250 employees and make more than $10 million annual revenue, and you can use it completely free. So if you are a small company or something, you can use it completely free. And that is really good because Docker is such a powerful tool and everybody should use it. Now I click on accept because I'm just one person. And now as Docker desktop is starting, it will show now that WSL2 is not enabled. And we have to use this tutorial on this page here to enable WSL2. And we have to, for that we have to install a Linux image. Yes, and we put the warning like somewhere down here, so it won't be, I don't know why it's not minimizable, but that's fine. So first of all, let's check all steps because there are some that we have to like enable Windows subsystem for Windows. That's everything we have to do. So copy this whole command, open a new PowerShell when you have to restart your PC. And now I will run the PowerShell as administrator, put the command in. Now the feature should be enabled. Now we have to enable the virtual machine feature. That is also a command that we just put into this one here. Perfect. Now we need to install the WSL Linux kernel update package. You can just open this one in a new tab and it will download an installer. Just execute that one. Yes. And now finally we can check if WSL is working, and we have to set it to the default version 2. And after that we just have to install a Linux image. But then we should be fine. So let's put it to version 2. And let's just put in a WSL -- help or something, or something that is just inside of that here. But this shows that the feature is enabled now and we can work with WSL. So now go to the Microsoft Store or just download the packages directly. I will use the store because you can use the store without the Microsoft account. So I just put in store there. And my favorite distribution is Ubuntu. And I want to install Ubuntu 22. Just click on get. As you can see, you don't need an account or something for that. It's now downloading, and after it's downloaded, I will continue the video. Now it's finally installed and we can click on open, and it should just install the distribution, and we have to choose a username. And after that, everything from WSL2 should be set up correctly, hopefully, and we can use Ddev. Or install it, yes. All right, we are almost done. Just a few steps to be completed in the main installer window. Can we quit? Oh, yeah. Why not? Ah, look at that. So now we can choose. This is a simple Ubuntu server installation. I want to choose English as language. This is everything fine. Oh no. We have to say the username is lowercase. I will set up a simple password because I will just use it for documentary. So now this is the mount point. This will be the folder that we can access with our Windows system, and where we can write something inside of that. In this case, this can just be like it should, and we can click on done. Like the path in the Unix subsystem will be /mnt for mount, /c for your C drive, and then the folders that are created inside of that. And this subsystem can access these folders. That is pretty good because we can, when we want to migrate like projects or something inside of that, we can simply use that as a network interface, and we can use it as a network drive. All right, now we can go to reboot now, and our subsystem should be ready. Let's check if we are Lucas in this case. Yes, we are. Okay, it's it's just here, but yeah, that is the thing we have to do to use WSL2 later. And now we have to restart again. Of course an error occurred. My goodness. All right. Let's go back to our... All right. I think the best thing we can do now is just restart the PC again. So I will close everything down and just go to restart. All right, let's see if that worked. Normally, restarting Windows is just one of the biggest problem solvers from Windows itself. So let's check. Yeah, I will accept that. It will now check again if WSL2 is installed, and let's see if Docker Desktop will start now. Well, that's it. Skip tutorial. Now Docker is running. So as I have already said, just restart Windows and it works. This is like 99% of all problems will be solved by just restarting Windows. And yeah, now Docker is running, and that means that we can use Docker. So if you just want to use Docker but not Ddev, this video is finished for you right now. But now we want to use Ddev as well, because Ddev with Docker is just the best thing you can do when you are web developing. So now the next thing is installing Ddev. Now I will go back to my web browser and open ddev.readthedocs.io. We go to the next point. The first one was Docker installation. When Docker is running, so you can see this down here, engine running, that will be it for Docker. And now we go to Ddev installation and switch to Windows WSL2. So let's see what the text is writing here. You can read it, but I already did. And now we can install Chocolatey. That is the thing that I've done already. Now we can install mkcert. That is for self-signed certificates. And for everything what I'm writing now, we have to use PowerShell as well. So I will run it as an administrator again. Yes, of course. And as you can see, the command is Choco. Let's install mkcert. That is installed. We can use mkcert if we just use the path or write mkcert into our console. Now I want to install mkcert. So now this is my certificate that will be issued. Oh yeah, and keep in mind Firefox is still not supported, and I don't know why, because Firefox is such a nice thing to work with when you want to develop something. It's much better, in my opinion. I know Chrome and everything. I will use Chrome as well for this tutorial, but I really just prefer using Firefox. So let's command the whole command. I don't know if this will work by just copy pasting the whole thing inside of that. No. That look good. No news is good news, but I mean it's Windows, so it always says yes. Let's install WSL. I think I already did it, but I mean, what's the problem by just doing it again? Can I please copy it? All right, it's already installed, so I don't need to do it that. Docker Desktop for Windows. That is already done. So let's check the version. I mean, it should just show my Ubuntu installation. So let's put it in, and it shows Ubuntu 22. And that is always the checked one. So in this case, you can use another one if you like, but I mean, I work with Debian systems very often, so I just use Ubuntu. On my distro or something, yeah, okay. Let's just go to our Ubuntu and just type in that command, and it shows the mkcert certificate path, and that is correct, so that works as well. Now install Ddev, and I will just copy it like this, put it in there. As always, there will be some problems by installing everything, but in this case, the only one that didn't work, there was the same one that didn't work when I was installing it on my main system, is the Ddev installation. But fortunately, we can just go to the path that is just written here, copy that one. I just go there, open the Explorer window, put it inside of there, and there you have the Ddev Windows installer. So and we can just do it manually because I don't want to check the logs and Google for the problem solving, and just let it run. Click on next, read the license agreement, the MIT license, agree to everything. And in this case, we don't need to install that again, but I will just let it there because sometimes some errors will just be there and we won't see them. So this is one thing we can do as well. Again, just install everything that is required here. Click on next. Let's see. That's the MK cert. That's the MIT license for whatever, WinFSD. And there will be the installation path of Ddev. That is fine. I can use that one here. And I click next. And now I will click install. Let's see. Now running mkcert to enable trusted HTTPS. Please accept the mkcert dialog box that may follow. All right, let's do that. It didn't follow because we just installed it already. You can read the release notes, but I don't need to. So let's click on finish. And now Ddev should be installed on our systems. So it should work here when I just type in Ddev help. Oh, it's not recognized because maybe my session is not fully operational right now. I will close the window again, go to PowerShell and run it as an administrator again. And let's see if that works now. So that works. It shows me here Ddev. And I think we can check the version when writing Ddev-V, and that is the current version. I mean, when you use this tutorial, maybe there will be a new version or something, but in this case, we now know that our Ddev is running on our Windows system, and now we can check by just going into our other distro. I will just make it a little bit bigger for you as well. Right, that looks good. And we just have to type in Ddev to check if that is working. Oh, of course, we have to install it on our subsystem. So let's just copy that command here. Go to our distro, put it in there, run it, type in your password. That is a really safe password. And it should now work. Let's check the version. And that is the same version as the one we are using on our Windows. One thing I just really want to show you is how to use it inside your WSL installation, because when running Ddev locally on your Windows machine, that works as well. But the problem with that is it's not that performant than when you use it inside your very, very fast X4 subsystem. X4 is the file system that is really fast, and therefore we just finish everything up here, and then I will show you how that works. Okay, a little cut here because the problem is the command that is used on the docs is not correct, and therefore you have to go to the second link in the description, which will be this command here, and this will be the correct command. So I will skip to the point where I put in this command because the one in the documentation doesn't work. All right, that will be the reason why, because the documentation is false. Oh my god, I love that. That is so stupid sometimes. All right, so now go back to the last point that we have to command that we have to use. That is the mkcert for the WSL2. So that should be it. We are now ready for developing our stuff inside our WSL2. And for that, we have to use, like you can use VS Code for that, or PHP Storm or something. I would use VS Code for that because I really like that, and it already got some remote tools that we have just to install here. So let me make that a little bit bigger as well. All right, I hope you can see that. Let's close everything else up down here. So the extension that you need is called Remote Explorer, and you just go to your extensions here, search for Remote Explorer, and it will be this one, Remote Development, Remote SSH, and Remote SSH Editing Configurator. So when these are installed, you can see the Remote Explorer tool. And with that, you already will see your finally installed WSL installation that you have just created. And if not, you can go here to plus and search for it. This is just an help guide. It will just, guide you to the WSL systems. So it will automatically check that one. So now we click on connect to WSL, and it opens up a new window. We can close this one here. And now we are in our WSL subsystem, and can make it a little bit bigger. And when you see down here WSL and your subsystem that you are using, you should be connected to it. So let's go to Files, click on Open Folder, and now we can choose the path that is on the WSL installation. And in my case, I just want to create a new one, and I already got this one open. Let's see where we are. We go to, we are already in our home folder. Now I will just make mkdir and write something like Ddev projects, because I want to use more than one. Go inside of that one. And this one is completely clear. So now we can go into that folder. When it doesn't show that, we just do that again, open folder, and now it should show you Ddev projects. And inside of that, we can, create a new one or something. So let's do this with the terminal. That will be really much easier. I go to new terminal. Don't ask me why this shows me this bad font here. That looks really bad. And I will just check where I am. Okay, that looks really bad. Let me quickly. All right. The problem is I use Fira Sans for normal development, and when you don't have that installed, because I got settings sync, and that's the reason why you see something else here than on your VS Code installation. I had to reset this setting because, the problem is I don't have the font installed yet, and because of that, I just had this really, really bad looking console down here, terminal down here. So now check again. We are here. We go to our Ddev projects, create their new folder, mkdir like TYPO3 test. We want to install a TYPO3 installation inside of that. Keep in mind, you can do the same one when you just use your Explorer, but when you use your Explorer, Ddev will try to sync every settings and every file with the WSL2 installation, and that takes something around 30 seconds every time. So when you save your work, it has to manually, or automatically synchronize your code that you have written into the WSL installation and put it onto the host, so you can see the web version of your changes, and this will take up to 30 seconds. And because of that, I don't recommend my last tutorial, because there was that point when I made that, and that's not good. All right, just one small information about that. Now go to open folder again. Let's go to Ddev projects, TYPO3 test, and click OK. And now we should be inside our WSL Ubuntu machine. Yes, I will trust the authors because there's nothing inside of this. And we can open a new terminal window again. And inside of this terminal window, we can now type in Ddev config. Now we check the name. It's TYPO3 test. That's fine for me. It will put it in the current directory because I don't like that. I will add a new folder that is called public. That will be the folder where the public files will be. That is created. Yes. And in this case, I want to use TYPO3. And now the settings are already done here, but we can go into our public folder, and it just created our TYPO3 conf and additional configuration. That is just for our database later, and some other settings. So one thing as well we can do is check out the validate executable path, and it should be the same one as normal. That is usr php/php. Let me quickly check that. Binaries php. Let's save that one, and it should now be able to validate our PHP code. So if we open that one again, it still shows me that that is a problem. Okay. Let's go to our workspace and put that in as well. Let's check again. Close all settings down, open this one, and now it shows no message. And now because of that, our PHP validation should work now. So let's go into our .ddev folder, go to the config.yaml and switch everything you need to switch, because sometimes you got an older TYPO3 installation that doesn't work with PHP 8 in this case. So you can just write 7.4. Everything of that, what I'm talking about, is just described down here. So you can see the versions that you can use. You can switch from MariaDB to MySQL if you like. You can switch the ports and everything like that. But you have to do that before you firstly start your Ddev installation, because when it's already done, you can't switch from MariaDB to MySQL, for example. So one thing I will do is just put time zone inside of this YAML file to just show the server that we are located in Europe/Berlin, the time zone, which is currently something around 2:40 p.m. So now it's closed down. Everything that I needed is finally configured. I will open a new terminal window again, and I just write ddev start. Keep in mind, when you start it the first time, why not take my data? You can do that. Maybe you can find some errors and help others with that. So when you start it up the first time, there's no going back. So you can switch some like PHP version or something, but you can't switch everything. And the first installation, as you can see, will take some time because it has to download every Docker image. And when we go to our Docker installation, it should not show anything, I think. Yeah, it will take some time. So it will just download the Docker images for Ddev, like, oh yeah, it's already written here, the web server. And this will take some time because you can see my download is currently really slow. Just let's wait for that to be finished. Finally, after 2 hours and editing the whole before content that I've recorded before this voice now, it's finally finished, and my laptop fan blowers are so loud you can't imagine. But it's installed now, and it shows me that the project can be reached under these two domains. The one thing you can check is when you want to develop with Firefox, you can use this IP address in this case. Or if you have a browser that doesn't recognize the certificates as good as Firefox, like Chrome, you can use this link. I mean, it's much easier to have a link so you can configure your page to work on that link. But before we do that, we have to check one thing, because when you're working with WSL2, you need to add a host record. And the problem with that is, I don't know why, but unfortunately it can't do it by itself. It just can do it on the Linux machine. So we just have to copy that one, this command here. I hope it's copied now. And you have to do it in a, I don't know, administrative PowerShell or in administrative command. command line. I will just write this command into it. Oh, it's not recognized because PowerShell again has to be restarted. Okay, let's make it with a command shell quickly. You don't even need administrator rights for that, but when you run the command, it has to get the administrative. So, and now everything should be set up. We have another problem here that is, that is just specific for TYPO3. That's because when you want to use TYPO3, you have to install it via Composer, and normally there's no local configuration file. So if you're migrating from a web server or something, now it's the time where you can add all your files into your system, because they won't be changed right now and in the future. So just put all your files from your migrated page or something into the dev system now, where you have this domain. So when you want to do that, I don't have it right now, because, but if you want to do that, you can, the easiest way is just click on one file or something and go to Reveal in Explorer, and it will show you the path in 2 or 3 minutes, hopefully. That takes some time, but here it is. And when you go back one folder, you can see your public folder, and inside of this public folder, you can add all your files. And you can see, I already see that there's a TYPO3 conf folder. That's just because of the additional configuration, which is meant to use like settings for the image generation and your database and everything. You can watch into it and you will just see all these settings. Yeah, and that's it. Now you can install TYPO3. So we can just easily go to get typo3.org, and it lags so hard. This laptop won't be a nice thing to work with in the future, I think. But maybe it's time to upgrade, or yeah. And there you can see the link for set up a new project via Ddev. And now we can use the Ddev Composer command. I will just use a V11 version. I go into my VS Code, put that into it, and be sure that you are in the right path. So the right path is Ddev projects TYPO3 test, but not the public folder, because every installation, like the composer and everything, that must be behind that public folder. Let's issue this command. Yes. All right. And now it just restarted all the containers, and maybe it's interesting for you, but you can already see inside of Docker the containers that Ddev is using. So when there are some problems or something, you can manually stop them from here as well. But I really recommend that you are using the command line for that. So let's check if there's something informational for us. Unable to create settings file, blah, 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 blah. Failed to write TYPO3 additional configuration file, blah, blah, blah. No such file directory. But okay, it deleted my additional config folder. No problem for now, because we will set up everything from the command line from Composer here. So the next one we are doing is Composer install. Okay, I opened every file, but this is the right one. Yeah, you see the additional configuration is deleted right now, but it will be back when we are finished with our installation. So let's quickly Ddev Composer install it. After that command, we can access the website already, but I want to use the TYPO3 CMS install command because it's much quicker, and we can set up everything. I hope it works. If not, we have to do it like manually by accessing the page. So let's check MySQL. So I just write MySQL. The username for the database is DB, as well as the password is DB. The host name would be this, but if you are not sure, you can go into your not public. Okay, let's open a new command line quickly and write ddev describe. With ddev describe, you get every information like from your database, where the page is accessible, where the mailhog link is and everything else. And when I go down here, let's check the DB. That is localhost dot blah, 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 blah. But I want to use this one. I copy that one, put it inside here. The port will be the default port, so I just enter. The Unix socket to connect to, I don't need that. That looked like it worked. We can use an already existing database or not, but I want to create a new one. The name of the database will be, just call it DB because that's everything. Oh no, we call it TYPO3. That's much more explaining. Okay, we can't explain that one, so we use the DB that is already created. Now we can create an administrative user. I will just call him Hunter. We create a password for him because that's a local installation. I won't use really unsafe. And the name, the default will be fine. That's it. Okay, now not okay. Thank you very much. Let's make it again. Let's use something safe. So let's do nothing because I already created a public page. We want to create an Apache htaccess file. So I write Apache. Now the core extensions will be set up. And finally, our TYPO3 CMS is installed. So this is a more configurable configuration. When you want to access the page, you can do that as well, but you don't have that many options like in this configuration wizard. And I recommend using that one. So now the page should be available. We just copy out the link for the page. By the way, this is your phpMyAdmin link. So when you want to import a database, you can use this one. Mailhog is here, and when I go a little bit more up, you can see the page. So let's copy that link. Because Firefox is not supporting that, that's really unfortunate. I have to use Chrome, but I got a Chromium without Google, so not that big of a deal. Check if that page works. No, it doesn't. Oh, the system cannot find the... Okay, let's check if the hosts file is correct. There's so many things we have to do here. System32, drivers, etc. and the hosts file. But it looks like it is already modified, but we can open it up with VS Code or something. Yeah, there's our problem. So when this command doesn't work, we have to manually add it to our hosts file. And that is just 127.0.0.1 and then the name of the page. So it's just typo3 test.ddev.site. Just put it in here. Now the problem is you can't save it directly into the hosts folder because you need administrative privileges with that. So I just save it on my desktop and put it back there when I have finished. So put it on the desktop. Now let's check on the desktop, open it in a new window. So the file is just a text document because I got a new extension, new Windows installation. So I will just enable the extensions and remove the .txt from that. Yes, I want to. And now I just copy this one into this folder. Yes, replace it. Yes, continue. And finally, our page should be available when I reload this one here. Looks good. Oops, an error occurred. Okay, trusted host pattern does not work. And we have to write this one into our trusted host pattern in our settings. So I go back to my, that's the wrong one. Back to my VS Code. Go to public. Oh my God, this takes so long. Not sure if that was a good idea to use my old ass laptop to work with Docker and DDEV. Go to TYPO3 conf. This takes, go to your local configuration file, go to sys, blah, 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 blah. Trusted host pattern should be somewhere here. No, it's not. Then let's copy that one here. It's trusted host pattern. Let's search for it. No, it's not set. So let's just put it somewhere here. Trusted host pattern. And we write this one here. Save it, and now it should work. Dev IP mask. Yeah, I forgot the comma. Let's reload the page. And now it says page not found. So that is good, because that is something we can access in the backend. When I go now to the TYPO3 page and log in with my credentials that I written in before. Yeah, okay. Let's log in, and my TYPO3 page should work now. So, and finally, our TYPO3 installation is available, so we can install our extensions via Composer and work with the backend and work with the front end when you make the site configuration here. And that is it. I mean, when you're watching this video, it took like 40 minutes for you now to see everything, but it took for me like 6 hours now. No, it's 5 hours. But you now hopefully know how to install Docker and DDEV and a TYPO3 test system for that. And if there's anything I can do for you, so just ask in the comment section, and I hope I can help you. If you like the video, just like it. If you like to subscribe to my channel to see new videos, like when I'm starting developing extensions with TYPO3, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day. Bye bye.